eye test so I could get my driver's license, and I couldn't pass the eye test. They said, come back within 30 days, but I didn't have the money to give me no new glasses, so I didn't go back, and now I don't drive.
I want to ask you a few questions.
I don't know if I know the answers, but have at it.
Do you love me?
Yes, I love you. Yes, I love you. I love all the Wilsons.
I love you, Grandma.
You know,
Can I ask you something?
what's that?
When I was a little baby, you know, I was the firstborn.
I used to smack your little fat, skinny butt.
Did you smack it, or did you whack it, or did you really bust my ass?
Love pets.
Okay.
I love all babies. I love everybody. And but when you change a baby's diaper and you wash its butt and clean it up and stuff, you just gotta add it on the ass, or it's not done right.
Grandpa was a gypsy.
Yeah. In a way he was, and in a way he was his own man, I guess you would say, because if he couldn't do things that he wanted to do, if you told him that he couldn't do this or he couldn't do that, he would do it or bust a gut. I mean, he done what he wanted to do.
And you were from, where were you born?
In Kentucky.
Where at?
Chenoa, Kentucky.
Chenoa?
Yeah, Chenoa, Kentucky. Around Pineville and Millsboro and Cumberland Gap and Cumberland Mountain and
So
just way back up in the woods. The Log Mountain was on this side and the Pine Mountain was on this side, and we just lived like coming down Thickety Ford Road here, and there's one mountain over there and one mountain here. And my first husband, he used to come from across that mountain and ride a horse across the mountain over to
who is he?
Arnold Taylor.
Arnold Taylor.
And he used to ride a horse from over on Log Mountain, up the Log Mountain and down the Log Mountain to Chenoa to see me when we was going together. Of course, I got married the first time when I was 14.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
that was a surprise to my mom and dad. They was shocked.
What about your mom and dad? What do you know about them? Or
Well, my
I
dad...
don't know nothing about my grandma. I don't know nothing about my great-grandparents. I'm with you.
My dad was a coal miner. He worked in the coal mines for 67 years, and he was a deputy sheriff for 67 years. And he used to work 5 and 6 days a week in the coal mines. And on the weekend, well, and during the week too, usually he worked day shift at the coal mines. And in the evening, if we had church like on Saturday night and Sunday and Sunday night, and once, like on a Wednesday, we had like prayer meeting, you know. And we had to go to church all the time. Of course, it was just about a mile from the house.
You're born in a church? Like
No.
Church atmosphere?
Yeah. A Baptist.
Baptist.
I was baptized a Baptist. You heard of these hard-shell Baptists?
Oh, yes. Yes, I've been around.
And my dad, if somebody, a man or two men or anybody would go to church and they drank moonshine all the time, you couldn't buy beer down there. You could buy beer over in Tennessee, but if you brought it across the state line into our county, you could get put in jail for it.
So, and you were, were you by the mountains?
Yeah. Pine Mountain was over here, had all pine trees on it and everything, and Log Mountain had all kind of like maples and hickories and all different kind of trees. And
what about your mom?
My mom, her and Dad was first cousins.
Okay.
My dad's mom and my dad's dad and my mom's dad was brothers.
Okay.
And my dad's name, my grandpa, his name was Alvis Parton.
Wait a minute.
Alvis, Alvis Parton.
Alvis with A.
Yeah. And
Parton?
Parton, yeah.
P-A-R-T-O?
T-I-N.
I-N.
P-A-R-T-I-N. You can get it on the internet. There's
Really?
all that stuff's been, Judy Calvin's wife, she got all that stuff for, all the background and all that kind of stuff. My dad's dad, his name was Alvis Parton. And,
that's a different name, even being from back then.
And my mom's dad's name was Columbus Parton.
So that was her maiden name?
Yeah, and that was my dad's dad and my mom's dad was brothers. And they went from the Dakotas to Kentucky in a covered wagon when they was boys.
So they went from the west to the east?
Yeah, from the Dakotas, that's north, ain't it?
Yeah, way up north to the east?
To Kentucky.
They came backwards.
And it was in the covered wagons, and it was like homesteads, and my dad's, he got so many acres filed on that, and my other grandpa, he got so many acres, and he filed on that in Kentucky, in Chenoa. And
how many sisters or brothers did you
There
have?
was 8 of us.
8?
Yeah, there was 8 of us. I had 2 brothers, Evan Parton, E-V-A-N Parton, and Ralph James Parton. And it was my brothers. And my sisters was Virgie, that was the oldest. My next sister was Geneva, and then there was me. Then my brother Evan, then my brother RJ, we called him RJ for short. And then my sister Janet Marie. My next sister was Patricia Ann. My next sister was Carolyn Sue.
With the last name?
Parton. All of us Partons. And
wow.
my oldest sister,
I didn't know any of this.
She died at 79. My oldest sister did. She died at 79 with lung complications. And my sister Geneva, her husband shot her with a shotgun and killed her.
Oh my Lord. I'm sorry.
He come home drunk, and he had been out playing cards. He worked at the coal mines too with Dad. My sister Geneva, her husband come home drunk, and he had lost all of his money playing cards and drinking moonshine. And he went in his house to get his gun, And my sister Geneva said, "No, you are not taking that gun out of this house. You're in enough trouble as it is. Just forget about it." And he said, "No, I'm going to go kill this son of a bitch that took all my money." So he went and got his shotgun, and he went outside and got in a truck. And she said, "Herman," that was his name, Browning, "you don't need to do this. Just let it go, let it go." And he said, "No, I'm going to go get my money back." She said, "Well, give me the gun." And he says, "I'll give you this gun." And he put the gun up in the window of the truck and pointed it at her.
Oh my God.
And she said, "Herman, let me have the gun. Leave the gun here at the house. If you're going to do anything, beat hell out of him, but don't take your gun. You're going to get into trouble."
Yeah.
And the gun went off. They never did prove that he shot her intentionally, or if when he put the gun up in the window of the truck it went off, because there was one pellet from that shotgun went through between her ribs, punctured her lung, and she bled to death on the inside.
Oh my gosh.
They had 5 kids.
I'm sorry.
And
I never knew. I don't.
this was,
Wow.
oh my goodness, I was just, I guess I was about 14, 15 years old when this happened.
What did you do when you were young?
Went to school, helped Mom in the garden, we canned, we raised pigs. I had 2 cows to milk. 2 cows to milk over the morning, 2 cows to milk in the evening. I had pigs to feed, horses to feed.
Did you guys have a farm, or did you
Yeah.
work for a farm?
No, we had a farm
And that was in Kentucky?
in Kentucky, Shinoa.
Shinoa?
Yeah. Dad used to cut the grass with pulling the that's a cat calling her babies. Dad would cut the grass with the mower, and he had it was like a tractor, and it had a sickle on it. And it had a lot of little teeth on it, and them sickles, them teeth that go back and forth to cut the grass, not like the one you have.
I know what you're talking about.
Not these modern ass kind. And we would, after he cut the grass, he'd let it lay for like from morning, cut this today, and he'd let it lay in the field. If it wasn't going to rain, he'd let it lay in the field till the next day, after the sun come out and dried it all up and everything. Then he'd take and rake it up in big long rows of grass. My sister Geneva would drive a team of mules with a big wagon on the back, pulling the wagon. We'd take our pitchforks and pick up the hay and put it up in the wagon. You see these old-time wagons they have way back in boonies?
I've seen wagons. I mean,
We
on
would
TV.
pile the hay up on wagons as much as we could get on there. She would drive us to the barn, back the wagon up in the barn. We'd have to get up on the wagon and pitch it from the hay from the wagon up in the barn loft.
Up
and-
into the loft?
Yeah, the barn, yeah.
Wow. What got you out of there? What made you leave?
Well, I growed up and
I mean,
Got married.
being in Kentucky, being out on the farm and all that.
well, my first husband, I was 14 when I got married. I had my first miscarriage at 17. I had my first baby, Calvin, at 18. 2 years later,
Calvin's
I
a good
had
guy. Very good guy.
Alvin.
Or Alvin. I know about. I'm
2
sorry.
years later, I had Carol, and then I had, oh,
You don't.